Ladies and gentlemen, my name is eSportsMonies, ESM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me. We should be live now. I'm pretty sure that this is allowed in terms of things I'm allowed to stream. There is someone else streaming the event on Twitch. I'm streaming on YouTube Live, and I'm just gonna roll with it. So this game is VGJ.Thunder versus KGL. I'm not really familiar with KGL. I don't really know any of their players, but you will recognize some big names on VGJ.Thunder, such as Sylar and Yang, IO, Kama, if you really follow that scene. I don't follow the Chinese scene as tightly as I once did. I've never followed the Chinese scene as closely as I follow the Western scenes. Hey, what's up, KK? So on the side of the Dire, we have KGL, and they have a pretty mid-game centric lineup. VGJ.Thunder has a pretty mid-game centric lineup as well, but I believe they do scale better into the late game. We'll see a Leshrac getting picked off. However, this is almost certainly going to be a dead disruptor return kill. Viper kind of getting caught out of position, but yeah, Sylar making the good right call here, going for the Earth Spirit because the Viper is probably going to be too tanky, but there is additional support and the Viper does go down. Meanwhile, the Abaddon was picked off by the Brood. So this KGL lineup is actually pretty darn strong considering I don't know these guys that well, and I do know some of the people. Like Sylar is like a boss, for example. This is pretty much a safe, guaranteed safe Weaver. However, he did lose a lot of mana for using his ultimate there, so he might actually get caught, but I don't think so. There's no ulti on the Void. The Void did go for Mask of Madness, though, so it shows that they want to fight. It shows that they want to use the Void as a sort of utility hero, more so than they want to use him as a right-click hero and a utility hero, more so than just the raw utility purpose, which is probably the correct move, considering that this team doesn't really have a late-game option, other than kinda, sort of Viper. This Courier better have something big for him. Yeah, it's got brown boots, so he will have a little bit of movement speed. We see a 1k gold lead in favor of VG. I'm just going to call them VG, even though they are VGJ.Thunder. They are a VG-based squad. So I will call them VG for the purposes of this match. We say a 1k gold lead in favor of them. However, experience strongly favors KGL, 2k by 10 minutes. VG kind of getting caught off guard here. Losing the Weaver is a pretty big deal, especially because the Weaver is going for Diffusal first item. So that's pretty significant. Be really interested to see what talents these guys go for. Really interested to see that. Void did go for the plus 20 damage at level 10. Again, he's going for the Mask of Madness build, and he's got a max time lock already, so it's not surprising he went for plus 20 damage, because he really just wants to kill people. Gives that rune over to the Abaddon. Yeah, this is a very, very conservative lineup on the Dire side. KGL is a little bit more, I guess, afraid. They're paying a little more respect to this round than VG is. I mean, maybe too much even, because the Void backtracked or jumped up here when he really didn't have to, because the Abaddon can't kill him alone. So Leshrac holding up a haste rune. That's pretty deadly in the hands of Leshrac. Pretty recent pickup, I want to say. Not that recent, so that could have been... Yeah, it's got to be from 12 minutes, so he's probably got 90 seconds left on this, so he can just sort of hold this, and if anybody comes to contest this tower, he can pop that haste rune and kill them. He only has 1 point in Diabolic Edict. That's very indicative of what he's trying to do here, which is fight like hell, split Earth, really prioritizing the stun and stacking it up with the CC from the Shadow Shaman rather than maxing Diabolic Edict first, which is what I typically do when I play a game of Leshrac, because it makes your towers die very, very quickly. Meanwhile, Disruptor has no farm because he's Disruptor at 13 minutes. Earth Spirit has enough farm to be relevant, I think. He can move around the map pretty darn quick. And we kind of see the same situation going on with this mid tier 1 that we saw with the top tier 1 for the Dire team, except Radiant seems to be taking the bait. So VGJ, yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that one. Oh, well, actually, I don't even think that was the correct play because you had the ultimate ready from the Disruptor, so with all of the power they had here, they might have actually been able to take that fight, but as 5 heroes did show up from VGJ, they might have, the dire side, the KGL might have next leveled me, and they're playing very much like a traditional Chinese team. They are dipping out, they're pulling out of fights they don't know that they can win. If you're not sure that you can win it, you don't take the fight, because you rely on your ability to out-mechanically muscle your opponents. Yeah, Sylar's got his defusal. It's 14 minutes. Small engagement happening. Actually, big engagement about to happen outside of the Roche pit. Dire shows up late to the party. VGJ, I think, should handily win this fight, but they already lost the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman not dropping down his ultimate, and the Disruptor whiffing his ultimate. Still a pretty close fight, but I think the Abaddon is probably going to go down here. He doesn't have his ultimate anymore. It looked like the Abaddon was just pushing through here to create additional space, or basically just to burn additional time, so that Weaver could go up, Sylar could go up and continue to farm. Good morning, MEJTM8. Good morning. Bane, also very interested in what talents Bane is going to go for. Viper not selecting a talent just yet. Not that surprising. Pretty standard. Interesting to see Glyph used in a semi-offensive manner, because you can basically use it to make it so your creeps tank additional damage. Yeah, Viper's going to go down pretty darn easily there. Bane has only a single point in Enfeebled, so it can be hard to keep track of what's going on, but generally speaking, when you get Enfeebled, I feel like you just keep hitting anyway, so I don't think that value point's going to be paying too many big dividends. Nightmare, he's put quite a few points into. Brain Sap, he has maxed. The Brain Sap maxing is a little bit surprising to me, or at least initially, but when you think about how much CC you have in the form of Shackles and in the form of 4 points in Split Earth, you already have a pretty solid amount of CC. It's Mate. 88. Mate. That's your name? Alright. So, really curious to see what these supports do with their talents when they get these talents. Weaver gonna go for the plus 20 mana break, which I kind of expected because he went Defusal anyway, so he's really just doubling down on the mana break. 25% experience gain's not that big when you're already kind of in the lead. Not too much to say here. And both of these teams really want to fight early, as we've seen all game. I mean, this is a very high-scoring game already. Oh, man, the Void is whipping it out here. Ooh. Whoa. Okay. That was a very, very good initiation from the Dire side. The problem, Disruptor might not have wanted to even use a spell there because the additional mana burn, or might not have wanted to even restore mana there because the additional mana burn damage is going to be really, really important. What's up, Mini Cult? Yep, KK. You're going to see a lot of BKBs this game. You're going to see in general a lot of early game fighting items because both of these teams are acting like they want to fight early. And they have been. I mean, we've got 38 kills at 17 minutes and 30 seconds, and we have 38 kills on the board. Despite the fact that I was talking about how these teams have been playing a little bit traditional in the Chinese sense of traditional Chinese Dota, which is very conservative, very defensive, very much not taking fights unless you know you can win them. We're still seeing an incredible amount of aggression from both teams, or at least an incredible amount of fighting from both teams. So maybe it's a sign of the times, maybe it's a sign of the patch. Yeah, everybody's looking for picks. I told you to stay in the trees. Wouldn't have helped you there, would it? Brewmaster's items, not too hot. Oh man, this is actually going to be a potentially big kill if they get Leshrac. They do get the Leshrac. Leshrac not choosing to take a talent, instead going to max Diabolic Edict. So, again, seeing him max Diabolic Edict is kind of a telltale sign, because putting additional points into this Lightning Storm gives you additional jumps, but he's already got 6 jumps at 100 damage, so he could double that to 200, but he's also increasing the mana cost. In addition, the Diabolic Edict damage, we're talking 40 times your choice of 9 up to 36. 40 times 36 physical damage against buildings is a very, very large amount of damage. So, yeah, good stuff. Also, he's got a Kaya. Love seeing Kaya. Yeah, if Weaver, I think Weaver is really the X factor for, yeah, Weaver's going BKB already. Gonna just jump out on that. Weaver doesn't want to go Lincolns in this game, because Lincolns doesn't do anything against, like, the majority of the Dire. So, the Disruptor's ultimate, I mean, you can, like, basically, you can avoid the glimpse, but only if he, like, only once, because once he realizes you have Lincolns, he can just Thunder Strike you, break the Lincolns with that, and then he can glimpse you. It's not going to stop Kinetic Field, it's not going to stop the ulti, it's going to stop Drunken Haste's active, but, like, it... Yeah, he's dead. He's absolutely dead, and they're committing a lot here. They're committing a lot. And, again, I think that's something that's, like, kind of... stylistic for Chinese players. They wanted to commit the ultimate from the Disruptor there because they wanted an assurance that that hero will be dead. So the Disruptor ulti cooldown, I believe it was raised in recent patches. Maybe it's just, maybe the Scepter cooldown is shorter, but... Oh, hold on, let me get a good look at this fight. VGJ really getting destroyed here in these engagements. The early game itemization on the side of the Dire is really paying dividends here, and ooh, he got bashed and he got glimpsed. Yeah, he's totally dead. Wow, that was huge. Yeah, KGL definitely in the lead thus far at 20 minutes into this game. I would say, mostly just because the experience graph shows him at about 3,100 gold, or 3,100 experience up. But remember, Dire does have 2k gold in terms of the lead. And, no, Dire does not have the better late game heroes. The Weaver and the Leshrac are way... The only late game hero that Dire has is the Faceless Void. The Viper is a very, very subpar, like, ultra late game hero. Like, he's good because of his talents now, but he's not a super late game hero. Void is an awesome late game hero, but he's itemizing for the mid game. So he's going to have a pretty steep drop off where he's trying to farm up. Like, he's going Mjolnir now. So going Mjolnir, it allows you to fight, but it's like, it's a farming item. Disruptor, a good late game hero, but late game utility. Brewmaster, extraordinarily average late game hero, and I think he knows that. That's why he's going Hand of Midas. Earth Spirit, decent late game hero, but he's not a scaling hero. He's decent in the way that Pudge is decent at all points in the game. Versus on the Dire side, you have Shadow Shaman. Puppy once said famously in an interview that Shadow Shaman is the greediest support in all of Dota 2 because he scales so well with farm and experience, and he's only gotten more so in that direction since the addition of talents, since all these new, he's totally dead. Since the addition of talents, and just progressively speaking, Shadow Shaman is, he can do more and more with farm. Abaddon, not a great late game core, he's kind of in the same position as Brewmaster. Weaver, absolutely same level of carry we're talking with Faceless Void. Bane, he's a utility hero, he's analogous to the Disruptor. I think I prefer the Disruptor because it's easier to land because he does so much relying on AoE, but still very, very strong. Then you have Leshrac. So this is where the problem is gonna occur for KGL if this gold lead stays about like here or even gets bigger. As long as they're about on even feet for gold and the game goes super late, then VGJ is going to have the advantage, because if you combine the Weaver with the Leshrac, then you suddenly have 2 super-powered carries that are going against 1.5 carries in the form of the Void and the Viper. And honestly, a super late game Brewmaster is probably not as good as a super late game Shadow Shaman. I mean, think about what his talents do. Plus 60 wards attack damage, plus you can get an Ags on him, and he's almost got that Ags. We're 23 minutes in, and he's like 300 gold away, 370 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. So they're prioritizing the farm on this Shadow Shaman. and he's going for the experience gain talent. This is a super greedy shaman. Super greedy shaman going on with a pretty greedy weaver. And Leshrac not going as greedy because he's going the BKB and he does have a blink dagger, but he did get the Kaya. He's not a conservative hero by any. He's very greedy. So VGJ just has to not lose too many fights, and they'll be okay. Or just not get picked off too many times, I guess. Yeah, Weaver needs to not be where he is, because it's absolutely worth it for the Void to commit Chrono. Void's going to commit Chrono, I think. Nope. Nope. I think if the Void knew where he was there, he would have committed Chrono. Because we've seen them do this before, and it's only going to become more and more important that they kill the Weaver. Especially when they know that they're not going to be facing a large-scale team fight because they've just killed the Shadow Shaman. If they commit the Chrono, knowing that they get the Weaver, it's worth it. But you also have to have the Disruptor nearby so you can prevent him from escaping via the Disruptor ulti. Another thing with this is, if you find yourself in a situation where you're ganking the Weaver, especially when Weaver gets Aegis or Weaver gets into a situation where he has buyback, you're going to find fights where if you have a 5-man gank on this Weaver with a BKB, as slippery as the hero is, as good as freaking Sylar is on him, you're going to see, yeah, if Disruptor gets Aghanims, it will be good, but it's not the be-all, end-all, because you still have to commit the ulti. It's more of a matter of if Disruptor has Refresher and Octarine and stuff, because Disruptor's gonna need, like, they're gonna have to blow the Disruptor ulti and the Faceless Void ulti to guarantee a kill on the Weaver. If you blow both of those on the Weaver and the Weaver buys back, then they can just, like, 5v4, if you don't have those two abilities on the side of KGL, then you cannot engage with the Radiant in a straight-up man fight. Versus the Radiant, they don't really need the Bane ulti as much. They don't need the Bane ulti, and they don't need the Shaman ulti as much as the Dire need the Void ulti and the Disruptor ulti. I feel like I'm the most boring caster ever because I'll literally ignore fights for the sake of talking, like, the grand strategy of this game. But that's what I've always done. Which is probably a horrible reason to do that, but whatever. So, Viper finally got some talents. He did go for attack range. I think that's the better talent here, I think. I think that's, yeah, it's fine. Attack speed, I think, is better than Spell Lifesteal on the hero. Attack range, I think, is up in the air, but he's already got Hurricane Pike, so his attack range is gonna be pretty massive now. What is his attack range? Yeah, he's up to like 800 attack range, so he's absolutely absurd. This team fight, see, this is where the weakness in the Dire line is starting to show, because now they have to just be. Like, what are you doing? Like, I know that you think you can make something happen, but you have to get out of there now. Because, and let's be real, like, I might sound like I'm favoring the Dire, and I'll try my best to be unbiased, but I have a little bit more attachment to VGJ just because I know who some of the players are. But, you know, everybody loves an underdog story. Anyway, on the side of the Radiant, we just saw, like, right in this fight, we saw the Shadow Shaman ulti get dropped, but again, we don't really care about the Shadow Shaman ulti. That's more for killing towers and preventing tower pushes from being contested than the actual than the teamfight ultis on KGL side. KGL dropped both of their big teamfight ultis, the Void and the Disruptor, and then they just had to straight up B because they didn't kill the Weaver. They killed the Shadow Shaman, which, don't get me wrong, it's a big kill, and especially right now it's a big kill because that Shadow Shaman is still in a position where he's trying to get super farmed. So, or trying to at least get experience. But he's already got the Axe, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's a consolation prize at best. Like, at best. This fight could... they're doing a very good job of picking off the Shadow Shaman early in the fights, because they kind of have to, because he has a lot of CC, and also because he's just generally an easy hero to kill. The problem is if they end up burning a bunch of ultimates and they only come out with a Shadow Shaman kill, then they just... like, they don't lose the fight because they're pretty good at disengaging, and they've demonstrated that, just like not hero-wise, but in terms of their team play, they're very good at disengaging from fights after they get that kill, but that's not ideal for them. They need to actually slow this roll of VGJ, because if they stay on even terms and farm, VGJ, I believe, has the better win condition in the ultra late, or even just the late game. In the ultra late is probably favors the KGL, because you get super farm on your Disruptor. But look at this Disruptor. The Disruptor's going for a Ghost Scepter. The Disruptor is not in a position where, like, he's gonna be the Aghanim's double. Yeah, see, they're burning everything on this Weaver. They're gonna burn everything on the Weaver. They're gonna get the Weaver, but he just burned both ultis. Now you have to win this fight. You have to win this fight, or you have to get out. Because you still have the Leshrac alive, and you still have the Shadow Shaman alive. So that fight, I will say, I mean, it went the way of the Dire just because you, I think, like, the Weaver is the one position, and the Viper is the 2 position, and this is, I would say, 1 position higher in farm priority than the Earth Spirit. But overall, I would say, like, it was a good fight. It favors the Dire, but you have to be doing this constantly, or you have to get a much more favorable fight, because you have to slow the roll of VGJ. Like, even though look at what Leshrac's doing. He's not pushing a lane. He's not, like, hugging his teammates. He's just, like, running through the jungle getting cash monies. Come on, stack. Stack, 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 stack. He's not even gonna stack. He's just gonna immediately kill it and then kill it again. Why? Because he's a boss. He's a straight baller. Okay, so meanwhile, Earth Spirit over here. It looks like right now that there's a higher level of farm priority on the Earth Spirit. In fact, there definitely is a higher farm priority. We're gonna go to net worth here. Uh-oh. There is definitely a higher farm priority on the Earth Spirit than the. Ooh, this could be really bad. Yeah, you just trade that was a horrible engagement. Like, in terms of money, it favored VGJ. In terms of everything, like, it favored VGJ. Ooh, never mind. This could be. That's the one they needed. Okay, that's a lot better. But even with that kill, that follow-up kill, like KGL has. I'm just gonna say Dire, because I hate. Dire has to be more defensive, because Silo's just gonna turn around and kill you because you don't have any ultimates left. You've already blown the Void ulti. You've already blown the Disruptor ulti. And your Void, without that Chronosphere, you've got a Shadow Blade, you've got a Mask of Madness, and I mean, now you have BKB, but really the whole purpose of the Void is to be a glass cannon that just chronos things and destroys them during the chrono, and relies on the DPS of his own right clicks stacked with that of the ulti from the Disruptor. Disruptor still got 16 seconds though, so if this Roche fight ends up being drawn out, yeah, I think, ooh, that's interesting. I didn't know you could do that. I thought he would just walk through it. I think because enough time has passed, this fight slightly favors the Dire. If a full 5-on-5 fight, it's actually going to strongly favor the Dire, because it doesn't look like Weaver's. Okay, so Weaver is coming down, but Weaver's going to be pretty late to this engagement. The Serpent Wards are dropped in a pretty solid position. Oh, if that Void goes down, yeah, this is a straight retreat. This is a straight up B. You have to give the Roche now. If they don't, they just straight up, like, they lose even more. Yeah, just get out. Just get out, just get out, just get out. Like, Dire's gonna lose so much. The longer Dire stays in this engagement, the more that they lose. Like, look at how much mana burn. Yeah. And they just spent another buyback, so I'm pretty sure the first buyback I heard was the Abaddon, and that was about 2 minutes ago. Bange or Shadow Shaman really needs Force Staff. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Or Yules. Yules would be a very strong choice. Yeah, look at this. Like, the problem with this most recent engagement was they went in and they felt overconfident because they had the Disruptor ulti off cooldown, but they did not have the Void ultimate. So when they went in there, the Void was wasn't immediately, but he was focused down. And as soon as that Void is dead, and you're missing another hero, I'm not sure. I think it might have been It might have been the Viper, but they had 2 heroes down, and Void was one of them. They have to get out because they don't have any more ultimates. They don't have any more big playmaker abilities, and their cores are fucking dead. And I just dropped the F-bomb, so I probably won't be able to monetize this. So sorry about that, y'all. Donate, give me some esports monies. What are the talents looking like? So I see what Disruptor's doing though. Disruptor's going to go for that 180 GPM talent, and that's actually a super strong ability on Disruptor because it can let you go for that Ags and it can let you go for that that refresher orb. The problem is you have to get into a position where your team's going to be like, it's cool, dog. You take some farm. Meanwhile, Viper is trying to finish a BKB, and it's really important that they get the BKB on him because you're playing against a Shadow Shaman and a Bane and a Leshrac. So the really cool thing that VGJ has done with the draft, I feel like Sylar might have drafted this. I think the really cool thing about their draft is that you have this Weaver, and even though he's got Mana Break, he's still, like, primarily, he's like a physical damage hero. And when you see him and when you think about him, you think of physical damage. And the same's kind of true about Abaddon. Abaddon does a lot of damage with his Aphotic Shield, but especially with that 90 damage talent and his just general, like, build. He's a decent right-click threat, especially when you have Curse of Avernus on you. So you have to worry about right-click damage. You have to build up armor. You have to build up physical damage resistance. But at the same time, you've got a Shadow Shaman. You've got a Leshrac. You've got a Bane. And Leshrac's a good mix of physical and magical. You have a huge split of very large sources of damage that are both physical and magical, so it's very hard to itemize to be safe from it. I really love that, like, cheeky Earth Spirit thing that people do when they, like, roll away and they're, like, teleporting still. Yeah, now you got an Aegis on Sylar. How are you gonna kill him? If you kill Sylar, you have to not only catch him out, you have to give him a huge amount of cooldowns. And now he has a Nullifier. He has a Nullifier! He has a Nullifier. You guys realize what a Nullifier does. It mutes people. That means this BKB, they dropped all this money into Brewmaster, didn't happen. Your Yols, didn't happen. The BKB that's about to come out on Viper, big ol' didn't happen. Faceless Voids, Shadowblade, and BKB, didn't happen. Like, he's got a Silence, and he's got a Mute. If the Weaver puts both of these abilities on you, and he's on top of you, he's got a Diffusal Blade. He's got, how much mana burn? It's 50 mana burn per hit now. That combined with his own 20, he has a 70 mana burn, plus it has 270 damage, and he attacks you twice. So you have 250 physical damage plus 70 mana burn and double attacks. And you can't move because you're nullified. And you're slowed because you're diffuseled up. And you're silenced because you're orchided. And you're also taking 30% bonus damage overall, like mathematically eventually, because you're orchided. So you just die. One thing I will say that I do not like about this Weaver's build, and maybe it's because of the fact that they have a Leshrac, is the Weaver's going very, very, very focused down a single target. But that being said, if they take the Disruptor out of the fight, or they take the Faceless Void out of the fight, they basically just win any engagement that they take on. I don't know what the entire Dire Squad's doing down here, because I'm pretty sure Radiant knows what's going on, and there's no towers, so there's no easy to grab objectives, just easy to feed kills. And Radiant already knows what's going on. They already know that they're out of there. I'm going to adjust the position of my mic, so watch your ears. This might be better. I really need to get a new mic boom. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, this Weaver is entirely... I gotta lower it again, because now it's in the way of my vision. Okay, so... Let me know if my voice is too loud or too quiet or anything in between. Yeah, we're pretty good here. So, yeah, they're sieging high ground. They've only got a 5k gold lead in a game where there's a lot of gold on the map because there's 62 kills at 37 minutes. But it just comes down to what these heroes can do. On paper, it looks like KGL might have a better late game. Like, it looks like the late games are pretty comparable, but they're not. VGJ has the much better late game. don't know if I agree with... I think it's worth it to trade a Mass Serpent Ward for a Glyph in that situation, but... It's hard to say. Yeah, he's going for the Refresher. He's already going Refresher, and he's not a hero that has a GPM talent. He has experience per minute talent. Yeah, he's going full Serpent Wards. How much damage do they do? So they do 160. Ooh. Oh, God. Oh, God. They hit really flippin' hard. They hit really hard. Yeah, you get a Refresher on this, Shadow Shaman. You're gonna be having a bad day. He's gonna have trouble with them. Like, he's gonna have trouble getting the mana to use that. He might need a Kaya just for the mana. Oh, he's going Gem first, just to control the vision game, which is pretty smart. However, it's ultimately not gonna change much because there's such a vision advantage on the side of Radiant right now. They have so many great offensive. They have so many great aggressive wards up. And Dire is misreading this. They think that there's more than just the Shadow Shaman here, so they're moving heroes into position. Or I believe they suspected it because they did move the Viper up a little bit. Like, the Viper's kind of... Like, what's he doing right now? He's like, do I go to my base? Are they about to high ground siege? Should I go back and farm? He looks like a man that is debating between whether or not a siege is about to take place here and going to farm here. But if you're right about this one, then you need to come up to the high ground to defend it. And if you go here, there's a high probability that there's a ward here. And then you just straight up die because you went to farm instead of preparing for a siege. Now this Weaver's playing fast and loose with the rules, but they do have the vision advantage and they do have a lot of true sight. This is almost certainly a dead Earth Spirit. I don't believe the Weaver made... I think it's questionable that the Weaver blew so many of his abilities immediately. This is tight. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's buying out. He knows he's dead. Yeah, they got a dip. That was a pretty piss poor trade. Also think I think the Weaver was just like trying to he was trying to reposition himself somewhere down here with his ultimate. So if he waited for like a second or two with time lapse, he would have been okay. Glimpse, like trying to counter Glimpse with time lapse is always a fun game. It's hard to do even if you're Sylar. I like this MKB coming out for the Void because it's a preemptive counter to a potential Butterfly from the Weaver. But Weaver just went Bloodthorn. Weaver's got a full flippin' Bloodthorn. Oh, and Faceless Void has a full Linken's, so... Really big, a large amount of defensive items coming out on the side of the Dire. Faceless Void, he doesn't have Chrono. Does he need Chrono? He's tearing through. Up. Yeah, if he dies here, that'd be pretty bad, especially because he spent so much money on defensive items. Yeah, he's gonna come back into the fight and keep hitting. Yeah, this is a straight up win for the Dire. This is a slaughter. This is a straight up slaughter. Yeah, this is a dead Abaddon. He's gonna feed a gem. This is really bad. I still like. This doesn't change who I'm favoring for this game, but that was a very like if you could just like draw an engagement, like the worst possible engagement, like that would be it. Give me a fight recap button. Come on. Oh, that was a cool trick to get high ground. Vision. Yeah, that was a 3k gold swing. But upwards of a 3k gold swing isn't that big at 42 minutes. That could be game. Ooh. I think that's game, boys. I think that's game. It's always fun to watch Chinese teams draft because... no, they didn't push it. So it's not game yet. Should have been. Yeah. That's really interesting. It's always interesting to watch Chinese teams draft because they draft like so differently from everyone else, and sometimes it's like we used to always say like watching Chinese Dota is like watching a time machine to see what all the Western teams will be doing in a couple of months. It's not like that anymore. They just draft differently. Sometimes it is the truth, but a lot of times it's just like they're doing their thing. Wow. That Leshrac going down would be absolutely huge, but Leshrac had a cheese, I think. Pretty sure he just popped a cheese. Ooh. There's a huge amount of damage coming out from that Faceless Void. Wow. I think VG's just crumbling without the Weaver. Nobody's got buyback on their team either. It's probably game. It's probably game. They'll have 3 people up to defend, and they're 3 pretty good ones. And they do have the Weaver up. They need to buy back on Leshrac. They have to buy back on Leshrac. Yeah, good. Probably too late, though. Yeah, it's too late. Weaver's dead again. Yeah, that's game. That's 100% game. There is no reason why you should be being chased around by a Leshrac and a support against your whole squad. Yeah, it's game. That was like a 7k gold swing and like, actually no, that would have been a 10k gold swing in about yeah, like less than 5 minutes. It was like an average of 2k gold going between teams across 5 minutes. 2k gold per minute for 5 minutes swing. Surprised I didn't go for both racks here first. They're not going for range, really. So much respect coming out from this KGL lineup. I think that's probably what's winning them the game, because KGL is being... They have shown a huge amount of respect to VGJ. They've been... Like, the one thing that has really set them apart in this match is that KGL has just been... Dire has been just straight up not overextending ever. They just don't... They just don't screw up. Thank you, Cameron Boyd. Yeah, KGL just... They don't overextend. A tide to the impure tide is money. You wanna get that CS? IO? IO, if you don't kill me. He's super godlike. Beyond godlike, I meant. I didn't see those pickoffs, but yeah, that's game. Sorry, I didn't see the two most important pickoffs of the game, but I don't think you missed much because it was basically 2 people getting caught out by 5 and then just instantly evaporating. So I believe we have more. I believe we have more to say. Have you, Master Qui-Gon? I'm turning on my fan because it's hot in this room. I should probably like remove some of the clutter from my desk so you guys don't see all of these colors. I need to just like actually get like a studio thing going here, like I don't know, a green screen or just some wall with a whole bunch of posters on it. Like maybe if I had something that just like stretched out when I open my closet door. Which is, you guys can't see it, it's off to the side, and then just reposition my camera. We did something cool with that. So, taking a look at the scoreboard, Sylar, yeah, he was below the mean on, his GPM. Leshrac, pretty well. So, what do we watch until the next game, boys? What do we watch until the next game? don't know how long they'll need to take. Yeah, it looks like... God, the Liquipedia people are straight ballers at updating things. This is the semifinals. Then we have winners finals. Then we have grand finals. So I believe this is a best of 3. I would assume that this is a best of 3, not a best of 1, because it's not losers. So even if I'm wrong about that, then worst case scenario, we end up getting pretty solid entertainment in the form of the other match, and that's VG, actual VG, versus newbie. All right. I have no idea if that's an anagram of Arteezy or not. The veg... It... capitalist. You, Caparino. We got Febby. We got Fear on Viper. You guys want to watch Fear on Viper? We'll do this for a minute while we wait for the next match to start. I am by no means an official caster for this event. I'm just like, it's on Dota TV. It's probably fine if I cast it. If not, I'll get a copyright claim, and any ad revenue from this will go to the tournament organizers. I just want something to cast. I don't really make any money off live streams ever unless people donate. Thank you, Carbon Bond. And everyone else that's donated, actually. Like, a lot of people have donated small amounts. Player perspective. We're gonna watch Fear's Viper because, I think everyone else is kind of questionable. Nah, I'm just kidding. I think Sumail's in this game. Pretty sure Sumail is... Gyro? Yeah, Sumail's Beast. What the... Ugh. Gross. Disgusting. Disgusting. Is he streaming this right now? God, why is my mic all tilty? I hate this mic stand. It needs to be, like, absolutely replaced. You have, like, 20 sentries? You have 20 centres? Centres? Oh. I'm getting a Facebook call. Hold on a second, y'all. Hey, dude. I am going... Well, I'm live streaming. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just got a phone call from a friend, and it was really, really choppy because reception was bad. How do you have bad phone reception in current year? Like, I don't know. I find it's a little absurd that Alright, you guys, I'm gonna mute my mic while I adjust the position of it, because this is really messing with me.
Invisibility. Where's my pension?
And the microphone is no better than it was before. But, little known fact, I actually have to disassemble, I actually take off the entire mic boom and this, everything associated with my mic except for the amp, and, put it on my couch or, above my bed. So...
Killing spree. Oh! Radiant's top tower is under attack.
All like
Oh boy, Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I'll take your tribute.
The force field leads me to believe that Dire just fortified their structure. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Oh, Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower just took a big beating. It's gone. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, looks like the Sumail Beastmaster worked out about as well as I thought it would.
Huh. Dire's middle tower, it's gone.
Alright. Sorry guys, I know this is boring. I'm waiting for the next match to start.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I imagine it's gonna take a minute.
Oh man, this guy's dominating. Oh, you better hold on to your hats, man. Now it's a mega kill. That's 5, baby. 5. There's no accident anymore. This isn't an accident now.
The beast in me. That should help.
Dire's middle barracks is really getting plunged in a sea of abuse. Dire's middle barracks are getting plunged into a sea of abuse. Dire's middle barracks are poof, disappeared. It's pretty lame. Oh no, Dire's
Sumail,
barracks
is
are
Sumail
gone.
actually playing
Oh.
offlane? Yeah, I guess Sumail has to play offlane because you've got Fear and Arteezy. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Oh yeah, and they got Mason. The TI winner. I just love seeing Fear back on the saddle. Fear's one of the... Fear and PPD, when you look at, the TI5 squad, you're like... There is no reason why this shouldn't be, a regular thing. Except, I feel like... Get rid of somebody. Maybe get rid of Owie for Arteezy. And just keep it like that. I think that's the ideal. Maybe you keep Owie on, but also, didn't Owie come back for a minute? I'm pretty sure AUI actually came back to EG after they just, savagely wrecked him. They're like, you just won TI with us, buddy. But you're gonna have to get the out of here. Here we go. Wait. Oh, here we go. And we got ourselves a draft, boyos and girlos. We got ourselves a draft. I'm gonna get myself some water, I think. I think water would be a good call. No broadcaster. The best broadcaster. Ugh. I missed so much of the draft already. Okay, so this time I believe they've switched sides. Wait, no. KGL elected to keep the sides the same. Okay, so Omni Knight and Tusk were the first two picks out of VGJ, which is kind of cool because it doesn't reveal anything about what they want to do.
You really gotta pick a hero.
I think the bans tell more of the story of how this game wants to be played than the picks, except KGL is very much focused on getting a lot of kills. And you can see that obviously when you first pick Bounty Hunter, you're putting it out there saying, if this is a high scoring game, we win. Shadow Shaman, great for getting those kills. So what do? You get Tusk. Tusk is really good for making those straightforward ganks chaotic as can be. Omni Knight also, he can not only save your boy from getting ganked, the AoE damage from his Purify is, or Purification? Purify? You know what I'm talking about. The AoE damage from that ability is enough that it can actually create a bit of chaos. It can make you go from, woo, my boy just got healed a lot, and you just took a significant chunk of damage. This gank might not go the way that you planned. So, ooh. Okay, so far I really like KGL's draft. Really like it. Also, because these teams picked supports, or just like support, roamer, whatever you want to call them, low farm priority heroes early on in the game, they don't have to reveal too much of their hand yet. So they can kind of go with this in any direction they want. It's not like if you're doing an equal mix, or it's harder for me to predict what Chinese teams are going to draft than Western teams, by far. My MMR is 4,700 before it got wiped, which was, I don't know, when everybody got wiped. I haven't done my placement matches yet. I'm gonna get that water, and this is really interesting. Oh, that is good. Water is good. Okay. Rubik. Alright, so I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I really do not like VG's draft. Or VGJ's draft. I do not like it at all.
You really gotta pick a hero. You got 10 seconds left. You better pick your hero. 5 seconds.
I don't like their draft at all. The only reason...
Come on, Radiant team, you gotta pick them right.
Yeah, like... KGL just... Why don't I make replay videos of pro players? I do sometimes. Not that often anymore, but I'd rather... I'm kind of doing that right now. I'm casting a professional match. These guys are pros. Some people are like, I want pros' opinion. They ask me, and I'm like, you are so far from... I am so far from a pro. Your question is just... It's in the wrong location, I'm afraid. These guys are pros, though. If you're playing on Sylar's team for money, you're pro. I will say, though, if I were a betting man, which I can be at times, Would not be betting on... I would really hope... Because generally speaking, like, bets get locked, like, before the draft. If you got to see the draft before you made that bet, like, do not bet on VGJ. You do not bet on VGJ. With this draft. Maybe they can turn it around.
Anti-mage.
Vipool I did. I actually seem to gain the most subscribers making shitty jungling guides, and I've been kind of trying to stray away from that, to stray closer to God's light in that sense.
10 seconds to pick
Every day we stray further from the Lord's light.
Yeah, 5 seconds left now.
Okay, so all the bad stuff I was saying about VGJ, I don't entirely take back, but anti-mage is a good way to deal with it. I think they need to pick something like almost like an alchemist.
Radiant team ban.
I was just saying in general for bets. I don't actually bet on Dota anymore. Or I haven't in a long time. Been a while. Esports betting has become like more dubious legally. I wouldn't say legally, but like
You got 10 seconds left.
it's something that like back when the scene was all people like between ages like
Radiant team, you had to pick 'em right.
like I feel like there's a much larger proportion of people over the age of like 19, 20. Like the majority, like the bulk of the Dota community at the time was like in their early 20s, and I feel like we have a lot of new blood now, which is really cool. But when you have a lot of young blood, when you got superstars and you got like 6K players that are like 16, 17 years old, betting can't be something that we just do on the side and talk about. Like, it's just not cool. You don't want to promote betting to keep people under the age of 18.
Dire team pick.
Okay. Okay. Now, see, VGJ actually has a pretty cool draft here, but they have to, like, the execution is so, if you have like a normal, like, normal man, normal mind execution, like 4K, 5K execution or lower,
5 seconds left now.
the Medusa Tiny combo is just gonna roll you. But with this lineup, you have enough counters, and you have a couple of points in the game where you're going to be strong against these guys. And this Rubik pick is like super mind gaming in the draft. Because what they need for this 5th slot is something that can tie this all together with a big teamfight ulti. And you can't get that anymore because you just got a Rubik picked against you. So now you're like, sure, what do I do? Uh-oh. This OD ban was also brilliant. Both of these last bans were super smart. Beast.
Choose your hero.
Beast is a pretty good hero. Wow, that's a lot of cosmetics immediately popping up. Beastmaster is a pretty good hero in this position because he's a very good BKB piercing ulti, but it's not the kind of thing that like a Rubik is like shooting for. That being said, all Rubik has to do is steal track, and then he's in the gravy train. So the Rubik does do a lot for the Bounty Hunter. Shadow Shaman ulti is not as easy to steal because you can just Ether Shock it off. I think KGL has the stronger draft still. I think if you have the absolute perfect level of execution, like if you are the best players in the world, which these guys aren't the best players in the world, but these guys, make no mistake, these guys are pros, and if Sylar's in the game, you know some of the best players in the world are in this game. For the region. So, for those reasons,
Oxygen-rich atmosphere, giant testicle monsters.
I give an edge toward KGL, towards the Dire lineup, because of the Tiny and because of the Medusa, because that scaling, and because of the fact they're going to get a straight injection of, like a giant hypodermic needle. Like, it's going to be like that episode of South Park where they figure out the cure to AIDS is just to inject yourself full of money. Like, that is what the Bounty Hunter is here for. But with the top tier execution, I say these teams are an absolutely, with the absolute best of the best in execution, I say these teams are on equal ground. And the reason being is because that Rubik has got a lot of answers for that mid game play. That anti-mage, if he gets farmed faster than your Tiny and your Medusa, He's got a lot to say to the Medusa, and he doesn't care too much about Tiny, but he has to get...
Morty, I'm getting ready for the game to start in 30 seconds.
There's no Craggy anymore.
Oh, I'm scared.
There's no Craggy. There's no Craggy. There's no Craggy. I forgot. You got the armor back. They added the armor back from Craggy when they got rid of it. But they didn't add, Yeah, no, they're 100% dependent on the performance of the AM. Also, what the hell is this? Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, no big deal.
'Tis mine.
But they did get bounties on their cores on the Radiant. So this is the final game of the semifinals. If I have at least 10 people watching, I will continue to cast the newbie versus VG series. Not VGJ, but actual VG. Big boy VG. So I don't know, if I have 7 watching, which is what I have now, I'll do it. So Sylar gonna, I mean, this Beastmaster's just like he's up shit creek without a paddle. He's not having he's having a toggle. He's not having a time. He's not having fun. He's gonna try to bully around Sylar, but how's that gonna go? You got the Rubik to babysit the Sylar. The Rubik's gonna, like, the Rubik will have null field at some point. You'll have a 22 magic resist aura, plus he's got 25% base magic resist plus 50. So your anti-mage is essentially immune to all magic damage. Every single lane is getting pretty aggressive here. Everyone on the map is pretty low. Omni Knight, am I gonna miss the Omni kill? Is this first blood? Is this first blood, boys? Boyos and girlos. That is a Shadow Shaman. Seen a lot of this level 1 Ether Shock stuff. I don't know how I feel about it. I think the only reason that that's okay is because all of his other abilities suck at level 1 too. Level 3, it's good, and then getting it at level 3, so putting 2 points in it and more, it just gets better and better and better. It gets sick. Son of a. I missed it after all that. Okay, so pretty cool cosmetics from the Medusa, but I'm not trying to focus on that too much. This is a pretty aggressive game. This is going to be a pretty entertaining game because last game we saw a lot of fighting early on, and Tiny's out there with it, like, waddling around with his tree. I think the artist like lobbied to Val. Ooh, who got that? Yang got it. That body block is too strong. That body block is too strong. The illusion rune killed him. It's very rare that an illusion rune results in a kill. Illusion runes typically thought of as like the trash rune. Medusa, Medusa, Medusa! Where did you just die? You went down to the quap. Okay, so double click will take me to you. Won't take me to your corpse though. Rubik is probably dead here. Should be dead. Maybe not though. With the damage reduction, it's very close. Oh man, he's gonna die too. He's gonna give a kill, and they're gonna feed the gold from the creep. He should have all-in'd on that creep, just anyway. The Rubik will live. Rubik is just like doing like a waddle of shame. He's walking so slow back to base. He's got a nice warm pair of brown boots to stick those cold feet in. Beast? Beast, what are you doing, Home Slice? You have no mana and no health, and you're gonna man up against the anti-mage that is winning his lane and has a magic stick with a charge in it, and he's basically full. Huskar's not having a bad time either. Huskar's having a. He's totally fine. Everything is fine in the world of Tuskar. Whoop! What do we have here? Another bounty rune.
Double damage.
Oh, jeez, Morty, they're going after Tyre's bottom tower.
Ah, jeez, Morty. This bounty hunter is just like, why does everyone hate me? This bounty hunter, is that a DD? Yeah, it's a DD on the Rubik. He's dead. He's just straight up dead. And I think there was a Sis. He was yeah, that's definitely a Sis gold on the anti-mage. So anti-mage is having a fine time. Anti-mage has 4-minute treads and stout shield, quelling blade. Still got some regen and a magic wand. He's going for a pretty. This is a pretty conservative anti-mage. This is not a greedy anti-mage, which is surprising because I would think that you would want to rush yourself to farm as quickly as possible. These teams are just playing for that mid game though. This Rubik is almost certainly toast. Yeah. Sylar should get this kill though. The poison from the Beastmaster is just too good. Something that I really like about what Sylar is doing here is he's not trying to blink and get this kill because he realizes it's more important that he doesn't take the risk and continues to farm, because it's really the entirety of the game that he's currently playing comes down to whether or not he does well.
Whoa, Dire's bottom tower's under attack.
So, okay, so look. I did not realize Battle Fury's recipe had been changed that significantly, but I like it.
Tis mine.
Total cost is pretty similar, right? 4,100, yeah, so it's basically the same.
Bottom tower's under attack.
Invisibility.
I really like this change, actually, because the Demon Edge is more, like, it's more slot friendly. Also means Demon Edge isn't, like, you see Demon Edge, it doesn't mean that you're always building into, like, an MKB or an a Divine. Yeah, Silo needs to actually just blink home, like I don't know what you're doing, like, or Shrine. Shrine's fine. I do agree with you, Vipool, though. Yeah, and you just go straight back to farming. Just straight sling and farm. Just sling and farm.
Thou art denied.
Yeah, he's... whoop. You gonna buy that ring, big boy? I don't think they have that at the side shop anymore, actually. Can't tell. But I'm pretty sure they don't have the ring at the side shop anymore. It's very hard for me to keep track of all the side shop item changes when I only play like 3 heroes, and Anti-Mage hasn't been one of them lately. Ooh. I don't know who I give... Yeah, I think this Anti-Mage is about to die. Yeah. That's a big deal. That's... I can't really describe how bad that is. This is really, really bad. Because... like, Tiny's a weird hero, too, because he's kind of always okay with fighting Anti-Mage. Why do I have spectator chat on? Turn spectator chat off.
Worthy tribute.
Yeah, they're just taking the bounties. She hasn't decided what to do with her next point yet. She's debating ult. That Medusa is too full. He's not going to be able to kill. This Queen of Pain really holding that point for a long time. Get the damn Sonic Wave. Even though it's only level 1, that's 290 pure damage in a big wave. It's a pretty reliable hit. What? Silo just got killed again? Tors. Caparino. Alright, not sure what was going on here, because Rubik kind of already used his... I mean, he didn't use his nuke, but he already had his stun on CD. Yang is... I really agree with this, because you got to take risks when you're behind or in a position where your win condition is getting really far out of reach and the enemy's win condition is getting really, like, comfortably in theirs. So, that was a pretty good engagement. They're just in this, like, horrible position where Anti-Mage is gonna get killed again. For sure, he's dead. Maybe not. There's no track yet, so he's fine. So not for sure. He's totally fine. I was wrong, but now there are 3 people here. So Anti-Mage is like what are you doing, dog? You looking to step up for a bounce? What do you Sylar, you are like one of my heroes. Don't throw. Please don't throw. This Shadow Shaman is having a pretty fun time. He's just buying like one of everything that's cheap. If it's cheap, Shadow Shaman's a source for it. To quote Sir Scoots, if you were watching his stream earlier, if you need some glaucoma, you come see me. This dude's talents are just absurd. Still, I think. I'll tell you what, he's gonna be going for 175 health. This guy's having a 175 health talent. Yeah. What are you doing, Home Slice? Sylar. Wow. Nice. Sylar got out. But the track's up now. But he BKB'd so we can TP out and he's fine. Yeah, it's a good call. Sylar living there was pretty huge because like Sylar is not he's not at the he's not on the cruise right now. He's not having that tenderloin steak. Yeah, right now he's like the $5 Walmart steak, like he's like below top round grade. Like he's like looking at that Costco top round going like, man, that stuff is dank. Also Costco top round is a great cut of meat. He is still like 1,600 gold from Battle Fury, and if he gets uninterrupted farm, he'll get it at a reasonable time and be able to springboard from here, especially because he already has treads. But if he dies again, we're getting into the danger zone. So he really can't die again. Shows you how good this dude is. I know I'm like the most boring commentator ever because I'm just like, look at how beautiful. Did he miss that? Damn it. I was just about to say, look at how beautifully he CS's. Omni going down. Support's not really that important. The only thing that makes it important is the fact that Bounty Hunter is here to Mr. Steal Your Gold. Gotta get that Rubik to steal the Bounty Hunter's track. Like, that should be like the Rubik. The Rubik should be trying to play as a Bounty Hunter. Like, that should be his whole deal. Oh, he's getting close. Yona sees him. He didn't see him, now he does, though. Oh, he's just gonna leech. Is he gonna leech experience? I don't think it's worth it. Because the anti-mage is fine experience-wise, he just needs some money. He went attack speed, this greedy bastard! He didn't even, like, the bounty hunter's been playing so safe, he didn't even track him. They do not want to alert Sylar to their presence. But the bounty hunter's keeping up with him. I think the bounty hunter realizes the only, like, naturally, the Dire has, KGL has a very big advantage here, but the one chance that they have is to kill the anti-mage. Oh, that is a very dead bounty hunter. That was solid. And Rubik wasn't able to steal track. I love that track shows you how much gold that people have on them now. Love that. It's a cool mechanic.
Way to go! Radiant's bottom tower is completely gone.
Hmm.
Nothing's changed.
Just seeing if there are any changes to track that I don't remember, but no, it's how I recall. Look at how big Medusa is. Anti-mage, Mr. Andy, anti-mage. If you die before you buy that demon edge, it's like game-wreckingly bad. You should have just sent the courier to the secret shop, I think, unless there's some really big project going on there.
Mega kill.
Like just, yeah, whatever. It's fine. He's got his monies. He's got his esports monies now. He's working on Manta. It's 15 minutes, so it's pretty late, but he's got treads already. So, problem is he really can't fight. He's just got to keep farming. Quap can't do anything on her own. Even with this arcane rune, like Quap's not just going to be able to win on her own. And Quap is building Orchid, so she's kind of in a precarious position herself right now. Omni Knight's got some pretty good mid-game items, but he's an Omni Knight. There's a lot of magic damage on the enemy team. Actually, no, this physical from Wild Axes, and the damage from Primal's magical, but I'm not swayed one way or the other. Oh, Rubik finally has track, thank God.
Did you see what they did, Rick? Did you see what they did? Frankly, Morty, no. I wasn't paying attention.
Alright. Radiant's getting into a position now where it needs to start looking at killing towers. They need to get that tier 1 mid down. Like, that needs to stop. Omni Knight is... Okay, so he went for the GPM talent, and I think that's the smart move here, because you need items to win, to beat these heroes. Bounty Hunter is tracked up. That's not one he's used to. Everybody's tracked up. They got a refresh track on the Bounty Hunter, so they can't get caught out of position. Oh man, this could be huge. This is actually really big, even though they just lost the Beastmaster. Or they lost the Bounty Hunter, sorry. And the Tusk. Tusk and Bounty Hunter both went down. If they could have got track on that, that would have been really bad. Oh, Rubik was dead, so. Wow. Getting... That's like 2 minutes from getting a Battle Fury until he has a Yasha. So that's a pretty quick jump. That's a pretty quick jump. Ooh, look at you, sweetie. Ooh, you silly man. Oh, actually, they burned a lot of magic damage cooldowns already, so they gotta go physical, and Omni Knight ulti doesn't care about physical, so this is actually working out pretty well. And they got the track on the Rubik again. The Rubik is doing his job so freaking well here. See, this is what I was saying about how well the Rubik just gets stuff done. Like, now there's a track up on the Tiny. The Tiny's probably dead. Like, the Tiny's probably dead, and that's another flippin' track kill. And they didn't lose a single hero on VGJ. That's what I was talking about. The execution, man. That's what I was talking about. You get that track gold going. Look at Sylar now. He's got that Yasha. It's been 3 minutes. He's got that Yasha, and he's halfway to his ultimate orb. Did they increase the cost of ultimate orb? Like, why, though? I thought they made that a flat 2K. Maybe I'm just thinking, maybe I get that mixed up with Hyperstone, because Hyperstone got reduced in cost, like, pretty significantly over the years. But this is... Things are looking pretty... Yo, are you going to get that rune home... what? Home slice. Blink up there, get that rune. Oh, they know the bounty's there. He's going to try to track him. He's going to try to track him. Track him! Yeah, he's dead. He's already got the ultimate orb now. It's been 4 minutes since he picked up the Battle Fury, and he's already got the Sanjin Yasha and the ultimate orb. I hope that he goes Vlad's after this, because I really believe he needs sustainability, and lifesteal's probably the way to get it this game. But again, Sylar knows more about Dota than I do. A lot of pros I look at and go like, you probably know more about that. Why do you keep it, dog?
They're beyond godlike now.
You like walk by that thing twice.
I'm not gonna
Just
cry.
get it.
I'm pissed.
I'm maximally triggered.
I love it, Morty.
I should be watching these kills instead of watching him farm. I'm just watching the anti-mage farm because it's like, it's a matter of if he gets farmed fast enough, then the game just like ends. Oh, bounty hunter. Oh, bounty's dead, I think. No, he's not. Yes, he is.
Ownage. Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Ooh.
Oh boy, Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
That's...
Dyer's middle tower, it's gone. Oh boy, somebody called trouble because he's here already.
Somebody called trouble because he's here already.
Got it.
Medusa, I do agree with Vipul though, in that Medusa will probably be unkillable late game. Probably. Like, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have issues with this Medusa. While I've been looking at the anti-mage, Medusa's been stacking on some pretty decent farm, but Hurricane Pike isn't... Like, I think Hurricane Pike is pretty underwhelming on the hero. Like, it's... You need it, but I kind of like to go, like Dragon Lance and then build other items before I actually finish Pike. But it's neither here nor there. This is a dead anti-mage. Should have been a dead anti-mage.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Track? So he's tracked up. He's got the invis, but he is still tracked up.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Anti-mage is tracked up, which makes this farming a little bit precarious, but oh, he's going Basher, so that's also a very good call. So
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
I'm just really curious about this anti-mage.
Not my
I feel like I'm
problem.
losing
Dyer's
viewers
top
because I'm just like
tower
I'm staring at anti-mage throughout this whole tournament. This is the final match of this series. It's just so satisfying for me to watch anti-mage farm.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. They would be on
That is cool.
No, it's not okay. I'm getting mad. I'm getting angry about this.
VGJ is actually like everything about the game still feels like KGL has the upper hand, but there's a 15k gold lead for VGJ.
Tower's under attack.
Like, that's how good that draft was, and that's how good the execution on VGJ has been.
Holy shit.
We're getting an anti-mage that's out of control very, very quickly. The pickoffs just never end. Anti-mage is just like over there just like dancing around and like, I love to dance on my enemies' graves. This Tiny's like, I'm gonna do something really cool. This Tiny's gonna do something cool, guys. What is this Tiny doing? Like, that was the weirdest interaction I've ever seen. Rubik doesn't currently have track. Omni Knight actually has a lot of farm, so I should probably just leave net worth up. Omni Knight's farm is pretty impressive at this point. The hood makes him really resistant to magic damage. I mean, he's already got repel, but he's probably going to be putting on an anti-mage. Anti-mage also really important point here that I haven't touched on. Anti-Mage doesn't need to buy a BKB this game, almost certainly, because of the fact that he has an Omni Knight on his team. So, ooh, bye-bye bounty. Yeah, see, just exactly what I was just saying about the Anti-Mage not needing BKB. Excellent. Just straight wrecking them. They found their win condition. They got that win condition. They have a position where the Anti-Mage is farmed in the mid-game before the Medusa and the Tiny can get super fat. And on top of it, they got a lot of work out of their QoP. So I'm not sure why Sylar's like not doing anything. So he went for the uncontrollable blink illusion, which I think is the correct talent. I think it's the better of the two. Woo! That was really close. That would have been a big kill. That was a weird engagement because Radiant committed, like VG committed so much to just getting this single tower, and they didn't end up getting like jack. Like they didn't get anything. Like that tower damage is not worth 3 heroes. Like killing the tower is not worth 3 heroes, but at least you can put it on your resume. That one you don't even write home about. They got a Necro 3 on the Beast too. Like if VG finds a way to throw this game, like finding a way to throw this game is like finding the lost city of Atlantis. And these guys are like, they just bought a submarine. They just bought a submarine and some scuba suits and some pressure suits. Like they're looking for the lost city of Atlantis. I don't know if anyone that ever gets the 200 health at level 10 on Shadow Shaman ever under any circumstances. I just don't know what you get that for. I'm getting tired, y'all.
Tower is under attack.
Ooh. Ooh. They got a peek at the bounty hunter. Good God, that anti-mage is absurd. That is about to be, that's a 5-slotted anti-mage. That's like a 5.5. That's like that's a 4.5 slotted anti-mage because you want to turn one item into like. Really, it's like a 6-slotted anti-mage. It's like a fully 5-slotted anti-mage though, because he doesn't have to buy BKB. Like that. This is a big, scary anti-mage. Sylar's just done a very good job of not giving in to the pressure of the fight. The pressure of the fight is the pressure to stop farming and just fight. And all game, he's just, I'm here to get money. I'm here to get paid, and I'm gonna get paid. Also, his magic resist is absurd. So his magic resist is 66%. That doesn't make sense mathematically because he should have 25 base, but it says 66%. Plus you have 18% coming out from... I didn't know you could actually toggle that offensively or defensively. But when he's got it set to defensive, you have 22% more, so that brings him up to 88% magic resistance. And then you have Omni Knight, who's got a pipe that just like just gives you regen and 10% magic resist. So he's got like, when the team is like 5-man grouped up, this anti-mage is like 90% magic resist, and you've got a Shadow Shaman, you've got a Bounty Hunter, you've got Medusa Snake, you've got the Tiny combo. Like 90% of the damage from all of those abilities is just not, it just didn't happen. Just didn't happen. Oh, look, a team fight. Oh, the Bounty Hunter's like, it's really Really nice. I brought it. Oh! You got it.
They just killed
If
Radiant's
only I had killed that courier when it had items on it. But it's fine. Anti-Mage is going Abyssal? That makes sense, actually. He's gonna go for the Abyssal, then he's probably going to trade his boots for BOTs, like, almost certainly. I don't know what he goes as his last item, though. Like, it's almost to the point where he could go something absurd like Daedalus, but Daedalus doesn't really make sense on this hero. Heart is a big choice, but it seems too obvious. What is the spawn box on this? Wow, that's a cool little trick. Ride home to mom about that one. He just does a lot with illusions. Good God. Kama's farm is also fantastic. Like Orchid, Lincoln's, Shiva's, Treads, solid. Bounty Hunter's got drums and phase boots, so he's a real barn burner. Tiny's farm is good, but it's not good enough. Like, this started out as like a gank, and now this is just you feeding. It's almost worth it if you get like 1 or 2 kills there. Like if you get the Rubik and then you also get the Tusk, it's almost worth it because of the bonus from Bounty Runes. Ahmad, Dota 2 is dead game. What should I be playing instead? Really, I don't just play Dota. I played a lot of Dota in the last like week or two. Problem is, like, I've been playing Dota so much these last couple of days that it's starting to creep in on me again. I'm starting to get the Dota itch. Dota itch is like herpes. It's not good. I'm just kidding. I love Dota. I'm not buying PUBG. Absolutely not. PUBG is the most PUBG is the Overwatch of this year. No one's gonna talk about it no one's gonna be talking about PUBG a year from now at all.
What's the matter with you? Dyer's bottom tower's destroyed.
The people that are talking about PUBG a year from now are the kind of people that are talking about Call of Duty today. Quote me on it. Who will be talking about Dota 2 a year from now? Maybe 10% less people that are playing it now. Dota 2 is dead game. Yeah, Dota 2 is the second most popular game on Steam, which is the largest distribution service of games, period. Like, period. The end. Across the whole world. What is really impressive about PUBG, though, is that they actually, they've managed to be the #1 game in the world, and they cost, like, $30. Like, that's crazy. We're a free game, and we're awesome. And they, like, got #1 costing $30. And they're basically a glorified DayZ mod. Or, Arma mod. Bounty's he's having a time. Rubik always tries to steal from him, pretty much always gets invis and not track, but it doesn't. I think it's too little too late. Like, you've already fed him track enough times. Like, look at those anti-mage illusions. They're pretty darn terrifying now. Like, I think the anti-mage can just straight up, like, murk your... Yeah, your anti-mage just blew up the Medusa. Medusa had, like, 25% HP and mana, and he just straight blew her up with Mana Shield on. He just doesn't care. He does not care. Does not care. You're just all gonna die. Like... Is that the recipe for MKB now? Oh, Medusa went evasion, so yeah, he's going MKB. He wants an MKB. Yeah, this should be like multiple racks because Dyer can't stand up to this. Like, they're just gonna die. Like, KGL should call this map right now. Yeah, they just called it right when yeah. Swarmling. I have not played Wolfenstein: The New Colossus, and I really would like to. I would really like to. Because I loved Wolfenstein: The New Order. I loved it. Congratulations to VGJ on winning this series. I really would have liked to play Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. It's fantastic. I mean, it looks fantastic. I know it was made using the same engine they made the new Doom in, which, like... So you get a good engine, and you're like, we should use this for a long time because it's really good. And people are always a little bit overconfident in it. No. Whatever you are making, whatever engine, whatever thing that you made the most recent Doom in, you should make as many games in as possible forever. Because that shit is so stupidly well optimized. Like, on my old computer, which had an FX 8350 in it, which is a horrible gaming processor, I was like max settings 200 FPS the whole time. Like, not the whole time, but like we're talking, I'm comfortably pushing a 144 hertz monitor well above its limits the entire game on like the highest settings possible. Wolfenstein: The New Colossus is on sale for $30 on Steam. I don't know if I can justify buying that because I bought a really bad... I did something really bad, like to the point where I think that this is a cry for help. I bought Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think that counts as a cry for help because that game is just like that's just me surrender. That's just me going, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. I just give up. Bought Battlefront 2, and I played it, and I was like, it's horror. I hate myself for it because I knew what I was doing before I bought it. And I have spent more time. I get a little bit of money for this as well. This also goes directly. Also, I'm not sure about the rules of streaming 2 of these streams at once. So like the match I just streamed is being streamed by someone else on Twitch that's actually authorized by the tournament. I'm not authorized by the tournament, and so Valve rules say that I can stream it. So I can, but if you do it through Twitch, Twitch has their own set of rules, and sometimes they'll ban you for streaming those tournaments. So I did it on YouTube. If anyone has any issue with it, I imagine I won't get any view, like I won't get very many views, like not enough to constitute a significant amount of money. And so if that amount of money did become significant and they couldn't make a copyright claim, then I could just give the money to the people that ran this tournament, or they could file a copyright claim and they just get like most of the ad revenue off of this video when I actually publish this VOD. More than willing to do that. I just want the exposure. But I'm not willing to do a restream on Twitch when I'm doing a cast of a tournament that I haven't been officially sanctioned to cast, because then I'll get banned on Twitch. And I actually do have a decent size Twitch. I think I've got like 700 followers on Twitch or something. So even though I haven't used Twitch in a very long time, and I think I would get a very large spike in viewers from using it, I don't want to stream this on Twitch. Not immediately. Also, like, YouTube Live is just better. It's a better platform, and the reason it's a better platform is just because there's so much oomph behind YouTube, because it's owned by Google, and Google just pumps so much money into YouTube that by proxy of it being part of YouTube, you just get to do whatever you want with the service. It's excellent. It's just a better, like, I like the interface more. I like everything about it more. Not to say anything bad about Twitch. I love Twitch, and I was watching Twitch earlier today for like 2 hours. I do want to start restreaming most of my content to Twitch. But anyway, back on the Star Wars Battlefront 2 thing. So a lot of people don't realize this about me, but I'm not a big FPS guy. People do realize that about me, but I've easily spent several hundred hours playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original from 2005. It is maybe top 10, but definitely top 20 video games that I've played in my entire life. Like, it sort of hits the way that StarCraft 2 does, where I'm like, there's never a bad time for me to go back and play that. And it's 5 years older than StarCraft 2. This is a 12-year-old game now. So, and StarCraft 2 doesn't really show its age. Like, StarCraft 2 does not... The only way it shows its age is in terms of optimization. You crank up the graphic settings to max in Legacy of the Void, and you're like, whoa. Like, the game looks like it could have been, like, made in the last year. Like, it doesn't look bad. And I've said that about it for years. But Battlefront 2 obviously does, like the original Battlefront 2. And if you just gave, like... This is the thing that's so frustrating about Battlefront 1 and 2, the new ones. This is the thing that's so frustrating. If you literally just took the original game and made it look really, really pretty, and made it still super well optimized using your Frostbite engine, and gave me every bit of content from there, and then expanded upon that by like 20 or 30% by creating, I don't know, maybe just like 3 or 4 original maps. Like, that's it. Just make the campaign super short, 3 or 4 original maps that have to do with the sequel trilogies, because we've already got the prequel and the original trilogy very well fleshed out. Do that. Do a very small amount of new content on the sequels. And sell that to me at high performance, beautiful graphics, beautiful gameplay. Sell that to me for $100. And I will pay, like, at launch, it's already down to like $30. So sell it to me for $100, and then like a month later, drop the price to like $30, $40, whatever. Get rid of the loot box BS. Bring back Galactic Conquest. Bring back single-player game modes that actually matter and are fun. Because I've spent more time playing that game than any other FPS, and I didn't play multiplayer. I just did the campaigns and the Galactic Conquest custom modes because they're just so much fun. And they're dead. They're not in the new game. And if they are, please correct me, because I'm gonna go. I got some shit to do immediately. If there is Galactic Conquest in the new Battlefront, someone correct me right now, please. But I'm pretty sure that there's not. So I love that stuff. I love Battlefront. I love Battlefront. The original Battlefront 2 was top 10, perhaps top 10 games I've ever played in my entire life. Definitely top 20. I would say, like, in terms of like meaning that it's had for me, it's above Smash Bros. It's above Mario 64. It's the original, like, it's probably top 10 games in terms of like the way it's affected my life. Like, it's the way it's impacted my life. There's like three or four games that like took video games to, like, for me, and made them into something different. So, like, the original Warcraft 3 is probably the most significant of all games, and then this is followed closely by the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and then that is followed closely, not as closely, but pretty closely, by Final Fantasy XI Online, and then subsequently World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, to a much lesser degree, I did not play for nearly as long, and don't have nearly as many I don't have as much nostalgia for World of Warcraft as the rest of my peers, because I was playing Final Fantasy XI at the time, which is tragic because it's been replaced by a new game instead of being evolved or added onto. So that's really tragic. There's a lot of there's a lot of sadness in my heart around that, because Final Fantasy XIV is a great game, but it's not 11, and WoW still exists. So those 3 games really changed my perspective on what a video game could be and what video games are as a medium for either art or telling a story or being a competitive challenge, of being like a board game, like being like on the level of chess in terms of like the mental things that happen there. Morrowind is probably the greatest way I've ever experienced a narrative being told ever. Like, the way Jeremy Soul's original score for the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is the best video game soundtrack ever made, and I will not argue. Like, you're just objectively wrong unless you think that Doom is better, in which case, like, you might be right, because Doom's really good. And I'm talking about both the original MIDI Doom soundtrack and the most recent Doom, but just in general, Jeremy Soul's, I mean, when I heard he was doing a Dota, like, I think his brother did most of the international soundtrack. I know Jeremy Soul worked on part of it, but most of it was not done by Jeremy. And I was really excited about that because of how much those games mean to me. And then Final Fantasy XI taught me about, like, what an online community could be. And Dota is, like, vastly superior to Warcraft 3 in terms of, like, everything that made Warcraft 3 just leave a mark on my life. Like, it's just vastly superior. No game has been as good as at creating that community online as Final Fantasy XI did. No MMO has done this. No esport has really done this. Like, I mean, esports do, but it's a different type of community. And then in terms of like telling a narrative, lots of games have done a very good job of that. Probably most recently, The Witcher 3. I think The Witcher 3 was that was a game that if I were young eSportsMonies, the age I was at Morrowind, and I picked up The Witcher 3, The Witcher 3 would be the game that I have all these nostalgic memories to in 10 years, I think. The Witcher 3 is just... I might actually just play The Witcher 3 now. I kind of just want to play The Witcher 3. Now that I've talked about it for like 5 minutes. And it doesn't seem... Like, to me, the game doesn't have a heck of a lot of replayability. I just wait until it's been long enough that I don't remember the game as well, and then go back and go, I know that game was straight fire, so it's time to play it again. I've never played Grand Theft Auto 5, and I just bought that as well. Swarmling, if you are still here, I've never played GTA 5, and I just bought it on sale like 2 or 3 days ago. So that's one I want to try as well. I've got it installed, I just haven't ran it ever. So I think I might actually do that now. Oh, you're still here. Cool. You're still here. You're still with me. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get really... I'm not too interested in doing GTA Online stuff, but I want to play GTA 5 for the story. I also still haven't finished Fallout 4 VR, which, despite all of my horrible reviews, this might be my video for tomorrow. It's kind of on my to-do list. I need to make a video where I just sit down and go, Bethesda, I am sorry, because your VR games are actually awesome. They're just sick. They're sick. Everything works fine now, even on the Oculus. It doesn't work fine, but I mean, the only complaint I ever had was like some visual stuff and some latency stuff. Like, I never really cared about the controls. So all of my problems are solved. I could deal with the controls. So both of their games are just fantastic. Like Doom VFR and Fallout 4 play fine on my Oculus Touch if you're willing to take, like, I don't know, an hour to play with the settings on all of it, and the controllers are better on the Oculus, so you should just do it and play the superior experience. And so I have to finish both of those. I've still got a huge amount of stuff that I can do in From Other Suns. And I know you guys are probably sick of From Other Suns because I've streamed so many hours of From Other Suns, but I literally could stream that game forever. Like, not forever, but I could probably stream that game for a couple thousand hours. The game's so sick. But I really love From Other Suns. Swarmling, I don't know if you've seen me play that game, but that game is like... That's the game that if you just bought an Oculus, I don't tell people to go buy the Bethesda games. They are fantastic. But if you just bought an Oculus, I say go buy From Other Suns. That is the game that will make you go, holy like, this is why VR is legitimate. This is why this is what we're doing. From Other Suns is insane. It's FTL, Faster Than Light, meets Borderlands in first person in space. When you're driving your shit, and it's literally just that, in first person, with insanely good graphics, insanely cool missions, insane roguelite achievements where you unlock different ships based on the achievements that you make while you're playing through a game. You unlock guns that you start out with when you get certain achievements. It's a blast. The game's just excellent. I can't say enough good stuff about it. And then on the non-VR side, I still have to finish the original Doom, which I probably never will, because if I'm going to be terrified, I might as well be super terrified in VR, because that way I can scream and shoot with my face. I need to double check Star Wars Battlefront 2 to make sure it doesn't have any content. Make sure it has, just in case there was content in that game, I need to go back and check and see if there's any. Because it's been crap so far. And then GTA 5. So that's what we have up on the roster. I kind of want to cut the stream off because this mic in my face is getting a little bit tedious. I need to just go buy a mic setup tomorrow. I just need to go buy a new mic setup. I'm sorry. And I don't want to wear my voice out too much. So tomorrow we'll either be doing some kind of live stream or I'll just do like my apology to Bethesda for calling them out. Because even though I don't really have much of a platform, I'm pretty small. We've got 3 viewers here right now, which is lower than my average by far, by a lot. But in general, I don't have a huge voice. I still think just in the name of honesty and decency and good media coverage, I need to go back and say, look, I was wrong. Bethesda, your games are absolutely reasonable, even if you're playing them on the Oculus. And Bethesda's been low-key like, we want this to work on the Oculus, but Oculus has been like, you can't use our SDK. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been like 20 minutes of rant. So, yeah, when you see the VOD, I hope you didn't watch the whole rant unless you were curious to hear about the whole rant. But you guys saw when the game ended. If you watched the whole VOD, then you heard when I said this is the last game of the series. So I'm gonna cut the stream now because I don't think I could probably get another game in me, but I don't know if I could do a whole best of 3. Newbie versus actually just who's playing on Newbie's main squad right now? Oh, SCCC KP? The Australian? And Faith and Kaka? And Moogie? Wait, they didn't change after TI? Oh god. I really like watching SCCC. Oh man, you got Paparazzi, Old 11, Lanham, and Fenrir on V. This is a sick city lineup, yo. I wish there were like a button I could press now to be like end stream make. Is there a button on YouTube where I can like end stream, make new stream? Because if they're about to do this match, which I think they are, maybe they aren't. God, VG has 3 squads in this damn tournament. Oh, it's live. It's live right now. Yeah, so it's gonna pop up here in a moment. I need to get like the exact same mic boom I have, except it's just like an L shape. If I could get it like 5 inches taller, like if I could get each section like 5 inches longer, 4 inches long, even like 3 inches longer minimum, but really like 5 inches longer, then like I could just bring it down over my monitor and it could just live here, and then I just not care about it. Turn my gain down, turn my gain up a little bit. Let's play with that. Which you never want to do, but I mean, screw it. I've already got a studio quality mic. Like, you guys see the mic? It's the IX mic. Whoa. Yeah, now the pop filter's not lined up with it, but when I lower it, the pop filter will come back into place. Yeah. It's pretty sweet, right? It's pretty... I got a big boy mic now. Got a big boy mic. I've had it for about 5 weeks now, but I haven't been producing that much content because I've been like doing nothing, just because of holiday stuff. Illuminati. Balance in all things. I'm just gonna leave it as vague as possible. What's up with this? I had an 11 win streak, then all of a sudden I get these shitty Smurfs, and now I'm on a 6 losing streak. Illuminati. Balance in all things. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is eSportsMonies, ESM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me. Thank you so much for watching tonight's stream. It was pretty late. It was pretty fly. It was pretty on the fly. Pretty fly for a white guy. It was pretty on the fly. I just decided to do one. I'm trying to start doing them more regularly because I love this. And if I could start getting, if I can gain the same amount of an audience doing this live than doing edited jungling videos, I would much rather do live content for y'all, whether it's casting Dota or just messing around with my own games. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will make the VOD of this public shortly. Peace. Actually, I have to click. Sorry. Don't have the hotkey set for streaming.